Welcome to the Adult Algorithm Podcast, the How to Adult podcast.
First of all, if you don't have a planner, get one.
I don't know
This
how
ain't
you
high school.
I don't know how you survive.
There will be no sugarcoating whatsoever.
This is the hashtag No Sugarcoating podcast.
And I'm your host, Jazzmine Johnson.
You're like the best influence and the worst influence all in one.
Are you ready to grow into your potential? What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Adult Algorithm, the How to Adult podcast with your host, Jazzmine Johnson. Yes, my ring light and tripod are dead because they're one and the same. Anyways, I'm very sorry it looks like this, but we are going to be getting a new one, like I've been saying for the past couple weeks. We need that paycheck to hit. For real, for real. But I hope everyone is having a great week. I know we didn't come through last week, but that just means we're coming in harder this week. I'm so excited. It's our last episode of the Negatives month. Yes, we're going into a little bit of August, but because August has an extra week, we're fine. We're chilling. Does it have an extra week? Anyways, so I'm so excited to be ending our Negatives month. It was a great month, great topics, and it's definitely a topic that will come back up again and we will go more in depth on. But for today, it's the last chapter of that book. So at the end of this episode, you already know the drill. We will be announcing next month's topic. And with that being said, speaking of announcement, instead of a small business highlight for this week, we are doing, drumroll please, if you follow us on Instagram, you already know what's happening, a giveaway. Yes, go to our Instagram to find out all the details and let's take a look.
We are doing a giveaway with the Adult Algorithm. We're going to be giving away a free bundle of 2 rings, and whoever the winner is, they will get to choose what they want the ring to look like. They can make a complete custom order, picking the wire, the crystal, all of that. What we just want to see from everyone is what they love about nature. If they could just post that, share it in their stories, tag us, both of our accounts, and make sure that they're following both of us. And yeah, that's pretty much how it's gonna go.
So that giveaway will end on August 8th. We are so excited for you guys to enter it. Please, please, please go. Who doesn't love a giveaway? Huh? Of course. And before we get into the episode, I just want to thank you guys for being so patient with us the past couple weeks and basically this whole summer. Of course, it's been a challenge, especially with my internship and just figuring out study abroad, especially because it was so uncertain about a week ago, and now everything's finally falling into place. So with that being said, we have a lot of stuff coming up. I mean, when I study abroad, we're going to have vlogs. Our 40th episode is coming up soon. In September, our 1 year is coming up. The playlists are coming back, and it's all happening here on the Adult Algorithm. I'm so excited for you guys to see it all. So let's get into this week's episode.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jazzmine. I am a tarot card reader. I'm also a receptionist at Modern Acupuncture in Garden City, and a woman of many facets. And I'm really excited to speak today on the Adult Algorithm, excuse me.
Hey, Jazzmine.
Hi.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, we're both Jazzmine.
I know. I literally, I love it. It was meant to be. What are we talking about? Well, thank you for coming on, talking about this topic. You are our last topic in our Negatives month this month. It's crazy that July is almost over, but I appreciate you coming on, and we're going to get right into the questions. So you talked a little bit about, you said you do tarot card reading. When did you get into that, and how did you get into that?
Okay, so I got into tarot, I would say like November of 2020. It honestly was one of those things that just fell into my lap. You know, I worked at Starbucks at the time, and I had just been talking about I want to go to a psychic soon because I want to talk about my grandfather because I lost him in 2014, and just I want to get things in line and figure out what I need to do to be fulfilled. And then the next day, my coworker at the time had brought me a deck. He was like, "Oh, here, this is one of my extra ones.
Wow.
Learn." And I was like, okay.
Wow.
So yeah. And so I went home and I just started going through the cards, and it was one of those things where I had got a grasp of it very quickly. So I was like, oh, I can do something with this. This is something that's meant to be, how can I say, a part of my purpose in life.
I love it.
Yeah.
Can you kind of explain what tarot card reading is for anyone that doesn't know?
Okay, so tarot card reading, a lot of people have different definitions of it. For me, it's mostly so the cards are split into like two different types of decks. Like not but it's in the same thing. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean. So
Yeah, it's not like
there's
separate decks, one deck and you split. I got you.
yeah. So there's the major arcana, which represents the fool's journey, and I'll get into that in a second. And then there's the minor arcana, which really like represents like the daily struggles or like just like daily events that happen in our lives and like that can affect us. So tarot, some people are like, oh, like if you tell the future and this and this and this, but tarot is like more of a thing where it's like you are receiving messages from like the other realm, the spiritual realm, to help guide you and just light the path to self-fulfillment and like to get you closer to that. What are things that you need to remove from your life? What are things that you need to add? What are certain attitudes that you need to adopt in order to get yourself closer to that self-fulfillment?
Yeah. That's awesome. So it fell into your lap. That is absolutely amazing. And through that, you also have learned a lot about astrology as well, right?
Astrology was kind of a thing that's been like in and out of my life. This year I definitely got more into it with tarot, but I've been into birth charts for about like 4 years now. Again, like it's something where like I'll go in and out, like I'll like, oh, like yeah, like I'm a Taurus stellium, Leo moon, and like this and that. And then there's other days where I'm just like, I don't want to read about astrology because astrology is like is very intense.
True.
Especially especially getting deep into it. Because there's different planets and like different placements, and then like you learn about aspects and just like there's other charts that exist that are like not it's a lot.
Yes. Very intense. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So how have you like used these things to kind of help with your coping, like yourself?
So good thing I wrote this down.
Oh, okay.
So for tarot, with like through like reading, I have this book actually. Hold on, let me put my. It's called 78 Degrees of Wisdom: A Tarot Journey to Self-Awareness by Rachel Pollack. Looks like this. Yeah, and she goes through like the historical backgrounds of all the cards and just like talks about like tarot in general. And one of the things that she said was very profound to me is that nothing that happens is a coincidence. So like something can fall out of your pocket. That's not a coincidence. That was meant to happen. And so all of the things that happen in your life, no matter if it's negative, positive, it's all meant to help shape you into you and like, help teach you things to bring you closer to, again, self-fulfillment. And so with astrology, it's helped me recognize my power as a person, as well as just like coming to terms with the way things are. Because again, like I was mentioning before, there's something called aspects. And so if you look at, I don't know if you've ever seen, like the birth chart, it's like in a circle and there's like a whole bunch of like lines and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to read.
Yes.
Yeah. So those lines represent aspects. And so the aspects are the way that those lines cross and like certain shapes they make. Those are aspects. And so it goes into depth on like the way your life may be growing up, the way you present yourself, the way that your relationships may go. And so getting into that has helped me just like come to terms with like, okay, like things are really rough right now. And like, again, with what I mentioned before we started recording, just like being a college dropout and like going to another school and then that not working out, I was in a place where I was very hopeless. You know what I mean? I took a lot of L's and I was just like, but astrology and tarot has helped me recognize that even though it sucks and like things are not according to what my plan was, it's still a part of the universe's plan, and there's still hope for things to get better, and things will get better. It's just about what attitudes I'm putting out into the world.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, I love it. So, how would you say before you discovered tarot and astrology that you dealt with coping and loss and, taking those L's?
I I was very like, what is that? So I have always had like a tight knit group of friends, and I love them and they're amazing. But it was really hard to open up and like without feeling like a burden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I felt like no matter how many steps I went forward, there was always something that would bring me like a mile back, you know?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it was really hard coming forth. So like I would just try to like, smoke a lot of weed and like just like and just like do this, I would try to like suppress my emotions through smoking, and then like being around other people, so that being around other people like means like I didn't have to focus on my own stuff and like focus on whatever I was going through, because I was able to just like channel that into being with my friends,
Right.
So I was suppressing a lot. I wasn't really taking the time to cope at all. But again, tarot and like astrology, well, tarot more specifically has gotten me into like a thing where it's like you need to cope because it's like it's really important. Because if not, it's just gonna stay stuck, and not only stuck, but like it's gonna like marinate, and it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse and more heavy. So
Yeah. So it's great that it's taught you that. And like for you now, what does your like daily routine look like when you are trying to cope? Like what are some examples of things you do now?
so it's like I would say it's like a 3-day process. The first day I spend literally like crying. That's it, crying. Because my form of just letting emotions out, I'm a big crier. I'm a crybaby. I've always been.
Yeah.
So I cry. I try to like journal things and just like journal my feelings, because it's like if I see it on paper, I'm able to be more logical about my feelings, and also like seeing it and being like, you know what, like again, like this is a temporary moment. This isn't like tomorrow. My journal entry may be about how I'm so happy and how today's been such a great day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's about like, for me, it's just like crying, recognizing it's temporary. And even though right now things are shitty, it's not going to be shitty for long. It's going to be okay. And yeah, probably, and then just like doing like another tarot card, like doing like tarot card readings.
Yeah.
Because like that again just like shows like, okay, like this is the issue. This is what you can do to fix it. And then once you fix it, this is how things are going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
And you're right. Yeah. And then you kind of reset yourself and your mindset.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what do you say to people that are skeptical about tarot and astrology and using these types of methods to cope and through mental health?
So when it comes to astrology, I understand why people are so skeptical of it, especially just because like whenever I seen astrology before I got really into it, it was always like a thing of like, oh, you're a Taurus, you're stubborn, you're this, you're that, you're lazy, you're gluttonous, you're this. And it's like, you're really gonna just like limit me to these like, such broad and like I guess like inconspicuous traits.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. whenever I look at somebody's chart who is skeptical, because, you know, like men are usually ones who are the most skeptical
Yeah.
about astrology. Whenever I read a man's chart, I always try to highlight the good things first. And then like, oh, like you're a cat, like say like, for example, like you're a Capricorn, you're very business oriented, you're very like, you're just like a go-getter, and you're always just about like making things work out for you. But you are emotionally unavailable and like this and that. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just like you need to figure out boundaries that, you know, correlate with the things that work for you. And usually it works. Like I've noticed that just like trying to highlight like the good things first with astrology is always, you know, with tarot, you can't like, it's really hard to not be straightforward. Kind of like how like you said in the email where it's like, this is a no sugarcoating zone. Yeah. Tarot is not the time to sugarcoat like at all, because it's like if you ask me a question like, oh, like what's going on with my relationship, and I pull like, what is it, like the 6 of Cups, I think it is, or like the 7 of Cups, or like the 10 of Swords, it gotta go. It gotta go. It gotta go.
What?
Especially with like the 10 of Swords specifically. Let me see if I can find it really quick, so I can just like show you. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you see, he is impaled.
Yes.
And swords in his back. And it symbolizes a relationship or just something that has needed to be ended a while ago. Wow. And it's finally ending, but like it should have been done a long time ago. Oh, and God. You can't really like go around that, you know? Yeah. And so I just try to be as honest as possible. Yeah. And I like, and just hope that it resonates with them. And usually most times it does. Yeah. Unless it's like they don't want to be honest with themselves. I just try to be as like open and just like as open as honest and not sugarcoat shit, because it's like there's no point in doing that. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love it. There's no point. Yeah. You're so right, because you want to tell them the truth too. It's like you have to hear the truth. Like it sucks that it might not be the answer that you were expecting or wanting, but it's there. You can't get rid of that. Yeah. No, life, like, cause it's like life doesn't sugarcoat things, so why should I? You know what I mean? Like when you're constantly avoiding something, your life is gonna be like, hold on, let me find this card, because this card's a good card. It's called the Tower. And so a tower moment is like demolition in order to rebuild. And so if you are not exactly like doing the things that you should be doing, if you are avoiding getting rid of something that you should be getting, like that you should have gotten, again, with the 10 of Swords, should have gotten rid of a long time ago, things are just gonna crash down and just be demolished. Yeah. For me, it was sadly my car. Oh no. So like for like this, for a while, I was like, oh, you know, I really should just get rid of my car. Like, even if it means like taking the bus for a bit and just like, you know, not having a car, whatever. I kept on just like ignoring that. I got into a car accident. Car is gone. So yeah, I'm okay, thank God. And it was a parked car that got hit, so nobody else got hurt, thank God. But it was just like a big like, I should have listened to my intuition, because like my car was already just like, it had seen better days. I also just like, I felt like there was just energies with that car. Like from the minute I got it, there was just something, like there was always something wrong with it. And like, I was always bringing it to like the mechanic, whether it was like over a tire or whatever, it was always something wrong. So I was like, I should just get rid of it. Yeah. Wow. I didn't listen to my intuition, and then the universe just took it from me. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Wow. So for manifestation. Yeah. What are your thoughts on it?
do you manifest and all that?
Okay. So manifestation is, I would say it's it's a blanket term. Like it's a blanket concept. Because a lot of people think it's like you sit there and like you write things on a list, or like you like, I don't know, like you just like start doing like rituals and all that stuff. And it's like manifestation is literally waking up in the morning and like looking in the mirror and just being like, today is going to be a great day, and nothing is going to get in the way of me having a great day. Like that is manifesting in itself. I manifest all the time. Just like in general, like just like trying to keep my mindset positive. I'm always like, like I am going to be the greatest tarot card reader ever, or like I'm going to be a famous tarot card reader one day, and just like talking about like things, and like, maybe I'm not in the setting I want to be in right now, but things are going to be rapidly changing soon, so I need to start getting ready for things to start rapidly changing. Just constantly like implementing things that you want in your mind throughout the day, throughout the week. It's really important because again, when you attract what you give out, and if you're constantly stuck in the mindset of like, things are not going to happen the way I want them to be, things are not going to happen the way you want them to be. You know what I mean? Because you're putting that mindset and that energy into the universe. So you're going to get that back. But if you're like, I'm unsure of this, but I'm very talented and I am worthy of this working out, so this is going to work out, then it's going to work out. And if it doesn't, then there's probably another thing in store for you. So don't lose hope.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And for the people that do lose hope so often and find themselves not being even motivated to wake up, what's the first step for them to become motivated again?
I actually faced this at URI. There was like a point like during my sophomore year where I literally like would never, I had this like double XL URI hoodie, never left my skin. Like it was always on. I would always just like change my pants or whatever and then just like go to class. Even then I wouldn't go to class because I didn't want to get up and leave and just like face the world.
Yep.
It's gonna sound like it's one of those things where it's like easier said than done. It's kind of like just doing it. You know what I mean? And like really just like forcing yourself, and like the need to like be real with yourself. Like, I can't just sit here and wallow and sulk in my emotions all day and like allow myself to succumb to whatever I'm going through, because if I stay here, then nothing is going to change. Things are just going to get worse because I'm just marinating in my sad feelings, my depressive thoughts. So having to just like you just have to like force yourself to go out there and just hope, you know what I mean, that you may meet somebody, or you may like, again, like you may run into an old friend that you would never think of running into, and then like you're talking to them, and like you could be talking about like, I don't know, like going to the beach, and then all of a sudden they bring up something that resonates with what you're going through, and that helps you. So it's like you never know what you're going to go out into the world and experience. So it's important to just force yourself to go out, even if it's so hard, even if you can't go out for more than an hour. Just go out, just force yourself, because you never know what you're going to run into.
Yes, so true. So important to keep in mind. Do you do like a lot of readings with other people? Like, did you start with like your friends and then like kind of expand from there?
Yeah, so I specifically started with my best friend Demi, and as well as my best friend Diamond. But mostly Demi, because I would see him a lot more than I would see Diamond. I would literally just like show up to his house and be like, all right, I got my cards. Like, let's go, let's shuffle. What questions do you have? And I would start like reading for him, and then as well as doing readings for myself. That helped me a lot. Now I do readings on Twitter. Like I'll do like for like the zodiac signs, like I'll do like general readings for like cancers, so on and so forth.
Wow.
And then I recently opened up a website and like to get like bookings for personal readings, which has been, it's been a process because it's just like having confidence in myself to do it. And then like just like being confident in my abilities and just, being like, oh, well, I need to become more confident in the card meetings, because sometimes I'll be doing a reading for somebody and then like a card will pull up and I'm like, I have no idea what this means. I have no idea how to interpret this. So yeah, it's like a mix of just like everything. I do readings for random people, but I mainly started again like doing readings for my best friends.
Nice. That's awesome. Do you have any like when you first started or even through your process now, do you have any like stories where you were like totally expecting one thing but pulled another thing and it kind of changed the course of your thinking?
Yeah, so when I went to URI, before I went to URI, before I graduated high school, I went to a performing arts high school, performing arts charter school. It's called TAPA, Trinity Academy. I studied theater there, and I was really into like technical theater. So I was constantly like going to like networking events, like constantly, just like networking with people and like meeting new people. And I was like kind of like the poster child of like the tech department at my high school, because I had gotten like an internship at Trinity Rep, and there was just like a lot of, yeah.
That's awesome.
So then when I went to URI, I was like, I kind of want to like blend in with the shadows and like not really be too out there and just kind of like seclude myself. So with tarot and like reading the cards and like seeing like one of the main cards I started pulling when I started doing like my own tarot card pulls is the Empress. And so the Empress is this lady right here. She is just gorgeous. She is, like she's very fruitful. She has so many things going around her, so much growth with like the wheat plants and just like all the trees. She has a shield of Venus, which means like whichever situation she faces, she combats it with love, and just like her nurturing energy. And so I pulled that card a lot, and I had just figured like the universe is trying to tell me like this is it, like this is who I am.
Yeah.
And not only is she like beautiful and radiant and ruled by Venus, but she's also pregnant. But like pregnancy can be interpreted as like a multitude of things, not just having a kid. It can be like just like being pregnant with possibility, being pregnant with like ideas, and just like again like the being pregnant with like abundance and all of that stuff. It doesn't need to necessarily be a kid. So when I had started doing tarot, like it was like I had pulled that card, and then I'd also like started pulling just like other like really like powerful cards, like the Queen of Wands, and like the Wands is ruled by fire. So a lot of it is like talking about like passion and like inspiration and just like going after what you need to go after. I realized that like I was so much more passionate, and I was so much more like I needed to put myself out there more. And I wasn't an introvert, and I wasn't somebody who was meant to blend in, and I was meant to be somebody who is like, who needs to be seen, So it was that was like one of like the craziest things, because I had just like thought like, oh, everybody has their moments in high school. Everybody has like, like high school jocks and like that. Like everybody has their little glory moment. My glory moment's over. It's time to focus on college and get like a real career and like all of that stuff. And I just like was realizing as I was going further along that none of it had resonated with me. Like no matter what major I went into, there was always something wrong with it. I didn't want to continue. Well, I did want to continue with theater, but it was like, a family thing, and this like basing my success off of what other people had wanted.
Yeah, that's hard.
So yeah, it's a harsh reality, and like realizing that, you're not going in a direction that's meant for you. You're trying to like tailor yourself to what people's expectations are of you. But yeah, trying to think of like another like crazy story. Oh, the Tower card again. I mentioned this earlier. So the way that the tarot card has been, the Tower card has been showing up the whole year, the whole year since I've gotten the deck. Just like drastic change is coming. And when like I had read it in the beginning of the year, I was like, drastic change happens all the time. So how drastic can it be? And then one day, again, like after the car accident happened, I had fallen out with my friends, and then like I'd had like a falling out with them, and then things were just going like change, and like things that I would never expected to like fall off or like just like not work out were just not working out. So I was like, this sucks.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but it like it was just like really it was really crazy to see, because it's like tarot really is real. Like it was like, oh, like I knew this was gonna happen months ago.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to like watch like the cards that you pull come into reality. And like also like doing readings for people. There was a reading I did for somebody, and it was like really random. I had just told them like, oh, like you need to go outside and like talk to a stranger or something, because like have just been inside too much. Like you have just not really been like putting yourself out there, and you're meant to be a social being. And so she texted me and she was like, oh, I went to this place today and I ended up meeting a lady. Like, and she was like, oh, like I haven't been there in months. I ended up meeting this like random lady. And yeah, and like, like she had like taught me like so much, and just like, I was able to like open up with her, and she had opened up with me, and like, they had just like had so many parallels. And I'm like, oh, that felt good.
That's awesome. Oh, so proud of you.
Thank you.
So cool. That's really cool. Those are all the questions I had. I mean, now I need to get a reading from you one day, because this is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, what's it called? What's your sign?
I'm a Virgo.
You're a Virgo only? I'll send you, I have to start doing readings again. I'm going to post some this week on Twitter.
Yes.
So once I post them, I will send you the reading for Virgos.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. Do you have anything else, any last minute advice, anything you'd like to say to the listeners about our topic today?
Yeah. So, loss is a part of the journey. Like, as much as, when you lose one thing, you're going to gain 10 other things, and it's really important to just like keep that mindset. And, what else was I going to say about loss? And like, also, use your resources. This is something that I had wrote down. Use your resources, and like, don't be afraid of being viewed as a burden, because if the people in your life, again, like really do love you, and if you are, again, like just like supported, you shouldn't feel the need to have to hide, because the people that are around you and that love you are there for you. And also cry, allow yourself to cry, because crying is good, and just letting out emotion is good. Even if it's screaming into a pillow, do it. Whatever helps you get the things out, get it out. Just do it.
I love it. Oh my gosh. Where can they find you on social media, on your Twitter?
Oh, yeah. So my Twitter is, oh, my Twitter and Instagram is Chai Buble. So like chai like the tea, Buble like Michael. You know?
Love
Yeah.
So
Well,
cute. Yay. Oh my God. Thank you, Jazz, for coming on, being vulnerable, and giving us such amazing advice.
thank you for having me.
Mhm.
This was really exciting and just great. And I'm really thankful for this experience. I was nervous, but this went really good.
Yay.
I hope you all enjoyed today's episode as much as I did as usual, and that is an end to our negatives month. Thank you, Jazzmine, so much for coming on, being so vulnerable, and really helping our listeners think and really think about what is going on in their life and how they can improve their daily life through astrology and tarot. This is such a struggle not living on my own. Like, my family is so loud. But anyways, the moment you've all been waiting for. Next month's topic. It's a pretty smooth transition from last month into this month because we are talking all about mindset. Last month we talked about negative things that happen in your life, and a lot of the episodes we did ask, how did you get out of that? So we did want to dive deeper into that and people's mindsets, how they want to become successful in the future, and what are the steps that they're taking to do so. I'm so excited. Some amazing guests, amazing topics, as usual, no biggie. And yeah, I will see you all next week for our first episode for our Mindset Month to help you grow into your potential. This is Jazzmine, the Adult Algorithm, signing off. Bye.